One of the first things to know about shooting outside is that wind is not your friend. So we'll see how this goes. I've had some questions come in recently about how to deal with unemployment. About a year ago, I did a video called 5 tips for dealing with unemployment, but today what I'd like to do is to get a little bit deeper into the feelings that accompany being unemployed and how you can deal with it. So I myself have been unemployed before. I've been laid off and I've been out of a job at times for about 15 months. And if you've been through an experience like that, you know it is not an easy time of your life. Not only do you have the need for income that now is not being met perhaps, but you have this blank hole in your life with nothing to fill it for the whole day. Meanwhile, everybody around you, for the most part, is busy and has obligations and people to see and places to go. So while it is good to keep a certain amount of structure in your life, to keep yourself busy and to make sure that you meet your needs for connection and seeing people and getting out of the house, there also needs to be some discussion and attention to dealing with attention towards how do you deal with these feelings. And when people, friends and acquaintances come up and ask you, hey, how's the job search going? Or how are things on the job front? It can start to feel like a reminder of where you're falling short and a reminder of where you're just not meeting the mark and haven't gotten your life back together yet, even though it's well-intentioned when people ask. So as I often do, I'm going to share a little bit of a personal story with you because I think that we tend to connect through stories, and hope that through that story that you'll kind of see, the point that I'm trying to make. So in some of my other videos, I talk about a time where I went through a lot of personal tragedy, and during that time, prior to that tragedy, I was also going through this long stretch of unemployment. So when this tragedy hit, I was even worse off and even more devastated. So what I ended up doing, no one would give me a shot at an interview for the most part, and just nothing was happening. So I ended up getting an LPJ, and a low-paying job. I was throwing freight at a grocery store, and it was physically really, really demanding. It was like I was working out all day long. But this low-paying job of mine gave me some respite. It gave me a little bit of income to just barely scrape by. But because it was an easier job, it wasn't easy on my body, but it was easy in terms of responsibility, and it was easy in terms of the amount of mental concentration that it required. And during this time that I had this job, which was about 2 years, it gave me the opportunity to grieve and to heal. And I had a wonderful, wonderful boss during most of that time period who was just a very kind person and a wonderful person to work with, who really kind of was like a mentor to me. I was very lucky to have that. But I bring up this story because sometimes when we have a period of unemployment and we kind of finally get knocked down enough where we have to humble ourselves and perhaps take something because we need it, not a temporary job that's below our skill level and below our experience level, as I did, it may give us some other opportunity that our soul needs to heal. And for me, it was giving me the, a little bit of respite to make a little bit of income and to grieve and heal. So a period of unemployment may be something like that for you. If that's not the case, my question for you is this: is there something in your life that needs attention that this period of unemployment could be used for? So while you're looking for jobs and trying to keep your head above water and deal with all of that, what else can you get from this time? What else can you learn? How can you best use this opening in your life and in your schedule to best serve you, whether it's working on your own healing or personal development or growth? Is it maybe exploring something that you've always wanted to look into but have never had the time? Or is this time directing you towards something totally different than what you've done in the past? I've known people who were so set on this is my career, this is my experience, this is what I've done, and then they find themselves out of a job and they can't get another job despite, having a wonderful degree and all sorts of education and experience. They can't get something. Is it possible maybe that you're meant to go in another direction? That may be the case, it may not, but I think it's worth considering that if something keeps, if you keep running to a dead end and a closed door, is it possible that there's something else out there for you that maybe is totally different than what you have previously done or considered? I also want to mention that it could also mean that if you have gotten a degree in law or in medicine or a PhD, and maybe you've put in so many years and years and dedication and hard work into getting this degree, and then either you're in the middle of getting that degree or you're just finishing, and then you're struck with the realization that I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to deal with the politics of academia, or I don't want to, I'm kind of burned out on this. I would like to do something else and go try something else instead. But maybe feeling like you have to do that thing because you've invested so much time, and all the while not being able to get a job in the meantime. And what I'd say to that is allow yourself to change and to let go of that expectation that, hey, you invested all these years of school into this, now I have to be doing a career in this field. Not necessarily. I know people who have gone through, a lot of higher education, and then they get out and then they do something totally different. And I myself did a similar thing. I did 2 additional years of college and sat for the CPA exam, and then somewhere in that process of attempting the exam, I decided, this isn't for me. I'm gonna take a break. I shelved my books, and I'll see if it comes back up. And I never looked back, and I never missed it. And people said to me, hey Renee, you work so hard, you're throwing it all away. And I said, no, I'm not. That served me at that time, and then I was being called back to going into, teaching fitness and yoga. So allow yourself that permission and that space to change, because if you're doing something, you are changing and evolving and growing, and you may outgrow that program or that line of work. So if you are in this period of unemployment, be wide open. Let yourself be totally open to ideas, even if they sound crazy, even if they're radical. So really kind of tune in and listen and see where you feel called. And it may be that you continue doing the same thing. It may not. So you have to kind of, feel it out for yourself and what is really calling you. Okay, I hope that helps, and if you have a question you would like me to discuss in a video, please leave it for me in the comments section below. As always, I so enjoy connecting with you all and doing these videos. Thank you so much for liking, sharing, and subscribing. I'll catch you next time.